We're now joined by anti-gender-based violence activist Malerato Charmaine Ramasedi. She is from the Hebziba Counselling and Healing Centre, and she joins us via our video link. Malerato, thank you so much for your time this evening here on SABC News. And I mean, you participated in the Women Empowerment Dialogue, basically taking a stand and a stance against femicide and gender-based violence. If you can just let us know, how did you get involved in this, and why is it so important for you to take a stand?
Thank you so much for having me, even the broader Kimberley, the Northern Cape. Gender-based violence, as we know it as a pandemic. And years back, this vision was given unto me as the founder of Hebziba Counselling and Healing Centre. And I believe, just as the other spheres of influence, when we speak about gender-based violence, it becomes, we normally say that, when we speak about education, and then we say education, it's a societal issue. And gender-based violence has become that. And it is indeed for every woman, every man, every family to do their part. And this vision was birthed forth, seeing what is happening in our communities, our surrounding towns and the region. So we took a stand in joining the fight against gender-based violence and femicide, joining with like-minded organizations, joining with our stakeholders to fight against the scourge of gender-based violence, because of its ongoing. It just does not stop. It's ongoing.
And Malerato, looking at some of the statistics coming out, I mean, 200 children and 800 women killed from July to September 2023. One would say that this has really hit crisis point. Would you say?
Yes. And I personally feel that we are not doing enough. We are not doing enough when it comes to dealing with gender-based violence, dealing with the perpetrators who is causing this type of crimes. We are not doing enough. And hence, we as the like-minded organizations has come together. I believe we have done some things, but this time, this modern age that we are living in, it's calling for us to find new ways and new strategies to deal with the scourge against women and children. Because of the target here, it's women and children.
Yeah.
And the perpetrator remains the men.
And maybe paint a picture for us as well.
Empower women.
Yeah, and maybe paint a picture for us as well, if you can. I mean, because your organization is based in the Northern Cape, and looking at how bad the situation is in the Northern Cape, how would you describe it when it comes to gender-based violence and femicide?
The situation for the past years, the Northern Cape has really united different stakeholders. We have united even in diversity. We have taken on this fight against gender-based violence, and we have achieved some great strides. 2 years back, we had a gender-based violence and femicide summit where we came together, and as I have alluded earlier, that we were looking into new strategies, how we can collaborate in fighting the scourge of gender-based violence. But this fight really needs people with a strong heart, and we cannot just do lip service. We cannot just have policies on paper. It needs action. What the law says must be done. What the law says must be executed, despite of your status, despite of your position, despite of your affiliations. You see, so the law must be applied at all times. It doesn't matter who you are, it must be applied. So, but in the Northern Cape, we have done some great strides in fighting this pandemic, and we continually do so because of that is also how we develop ourselves. That is also how we excel, and that is also how we impact our communities when we do it ongoing. We know that usually we are very audible and visible during August month, but this year we said no, we are not waiting for August month. If it's a pandemic, meaning that we need to deal with it every day. We need to speak about it every day. We cannot wait for August because of now, as you have just alluded and giving us the stats, only in the Northern Cape, it's very high. It's very high. So why must we wait for August? And why must we wait for certain people to do the work? We cannot, because of we are the people staying in the community. We are the people on the ground, and we are experiencing these hardcore kind of crimes.
And Malerato, just wanting to intervene there. I mean, a bit earlier on, you spoke about something about how you are doing things differently in the Northern Cape in terms of dealing with gender-based violence and some of the interventions that you have made. Perhaps share that with us. How are you tackling gender-based violence and femicide in the Northern Cape?
Yes. As I have alluded earlier, that we are working together with like-minded organizations and institutions. So it becomes now your one-stop shop. If you do counseling, like we do, for gender-based violence and victims and survivors, you have your shelters for gender-based violence of victims and survivors of rape. Then you have your religious sector where you bring in your spiritual counseling. You have your different stakeholders, your DSD, the law enforcement centers. So what we do, we have become a chain. We know now each and every person, the contribution they can add to this victim of or survivor. It's a holistic approach. It's a holistic approach, you see, because of a victim or a survivor used to go from pillar to post. That case just end up at the police station, and the woman or the child is not provided with counseling. The woman or the child is not provided with psychological assistance. But now we have collaborated and we have formed a very strong force, making sure when we are dealing with the survivor or the victim, we make sure that that person, that woman or that child receive a holistic approach, receive a person-centered approach. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Malerato. Really an honor to speak to you tonight about the interventions that you are conducting in the Northern Cape in terms of dealing with the scourge. I mean, we even remember the president always speaking boldly that it is another pandemic on its own that this country is facing.